Hey everybody, this is Dave, and have I got a special video for you today. Today I'm going to show you about this TV tuner. This is the HD HomeRun Connect. They also, the Silicon Dust company also makes the HomeRun Extend and the HomeRun Prime, where you can hook up your cable to it. But I'm a cord cutter, so I'm going to either use the Extend or the Connect. And it's a box that you connect your coax cable from your roof down into the back of this box, and then you hook an Ethernet cable right into your router, your Wi-Fi router, and then you plug it into power. So what happens now is it reads what the antenna has, and it sends all the information through the wire and into this box that has software that automatically looks for channels and sees what's available in your area. Of course, results may vary depending on how far you are from and how high you have your antenna, and these towers send out information. Now, I'm also going to talk about the Plex DVR, and this is a godsend because you use Plex everywhere. Plex is universal, so you can use it on your smartphones, you can use it on Android, iOS, tvOS, computers, Mac, Linux, Windows, every kind of platform. There is a Plex client. There are Plex servers, and the next part of this video that I'm going to talk about, the subject of this video, is I'm going to install the Plex server onto a NAS. A NAS is a box that has a bunch of drives. It pretty much, you combine the drives to make a gigantic storage space. I have like 16 terabytes. That's like, you could put hundreds and thousands of movies on it and TV shows and stuff. And you're going to need it for when you start recording with the Plex DVR and using the HomeRun. And I'm going to put, the NAS has software that you can install, like the Plex server and other apps and things like that, file management and stuff. And you basically don't have to have a computer. You don't have to have a computer running all the time. You can have your NAS running low power, sleep mode, and then wake up and serve to you. So that's how pretty much it works. It does specific things at specific times, not like a computer where you need a high amount of CPU and RAM and all that stuff. A NAS is pretty much just like a server box, okay? It does lots of other things, but the Plex now has that DVR function. It's a special beta. It's for the premium user. That's the Plex Pass user. I paid like $80. I got a lifetime subscription to Plex Pass. And it gives you a lot of abilities. Like when you're using Plex, you can download for offline viewing. You can share your server with a friend who has Plex Pass. So you have more stuff. You don't have to keep downloading torrents and things like that. Everything is shareable when you're a Plex Pass user. You also get access to these betas, and this beta is a special beta that you install, and we're going to install it on my NAS, and we're going to use the HomeRun to get all that information into Plex. Now there's a couple of things you're going to need to know, and a lot of things that you didn't see in other people's videos that I like to do detailed videos about. Like, can you watch live TV? Is there transcoding and remuxing involved? And yes, there is. What format does it do? How much space does it take up on your hard drive? And do I have to use the software that the HomeRun tells you to use? Okay, so here's the answer to all your questions. So first things first, Silicon Dust, they have a viewer app. They have this HomeRun View app. And that you can install for free. You put it on your computer, or you put it whatever they have. They have it for Android and Amazon Fire or computers, and you can view your channels. Okay, boom, 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 boom. Look at all the channels. They have this little configure thing, and I'm going to show you this real quick. So here's the HomeRun configuring thing. So you configure pretty much, and it's just a little box that tells you the two tuners, tuner 1 and tuner 2. By the way, this is only a 2 tuner. Meaning you can only watch one show while you record another, or record 2 shows and not watch them at all, or watch 2 shows on 2 different devices. Okay, So it pretty much tells you the signal thing. It's really useless. It pretty much automatically does it. One thing the HomeRun has is it's plug and play. You just plug it in, and all of a sudden it scans your antenna, and it's got all the information. You don't even have to do anything. Now the other app that comes with like the Mac is the Viewer app. Now this Viewer app opens up. It detects your home run that you connected to your network, and it pretty much has
contact your local Red Ribbon over.
Let me lower the volume
Today.
Let me
Chimney professional.
pause the volume on this.
Austin's
so
best
you
chimney.
pretty much have the antenna here, and you can switch through different programs. It's really windy outside, so I'm getting a little, hum bars all over. So it runs. This is running slow for some reason. But anyway, you get the idea. This thing pops out, and you pretty much can go through the channels. It's probably updating it right now. And let me close it out and restart it again. Let me just try that again. Okay, so we open it up, and there we go. All right, so we have the program guide here, and you can scroll through
Massachusetts
this program
school
guide and pretty much
school
see
leader.
what's on, and then see what's next. It tells you what channel it is. It has all this information. You just double click, and it tunes in to that channel. Okay, so it tunes in fairly quick. Today, for some reason, it's a little slow. We lost some power last night. But the other thing is with the View app and the Configure app, you can't DVR anything. So if you wanted to DVR, you now have to buy a $60 HomeRun DVR program that they're still working on. It's not even available for like iOS yet or anything like that. So that's in the months coming. They're still working out whether they can use the cable card and you can record HBO and watch HBO and all that stuff. There's some rights management and all that stuff that they're working on. So it's good to see that Plex now you can get the DVR without paying the $60. Now the other bad thing is that if you want a program guide through HomeRun, you have to pay the $30 a month for a program guide. And that's too much money. It's not even that they have a lifetime one where you pay $150 and you get program guide for life. It's $30 a month. So you really don't need that when you're using Plex. So let me show you now how it works on Plex. We're not going to use the software that Silicon Dust has, their DVR and their viewer. Well, we might watch the viewer so we can see things, because you're really not watching live TV on Plex, and I'm going to explain that in a second. So basically you need 3 of these devices. You need the antenna, you need 1 of these 3, and then you need to get the software. Now the software, because I'm a Plex Pass user, I get the software, and you can get it on this page here. I'll have a link in the description. You might be able to have access to it, but it's pretty much the Plex server, the special Plex server, the beta server, that you put in place of the one that you have now. So you take this, you download it for Windows, you install it on your Windows computer. You have to keep the computer running all the time in order for Plex to serve you the movies that are on a hard drive somewhere connected to your computer. Or you can use a NAS like I do. I have an Asustor NAS. It has terabytes of storage, and it's here. A Asustor Intel 64-bit. There's 32-bit, and there's also ARM CPUs. So I forgot what 64-bit. So I click this pretty much, and it downloads that server. Now I have the Plex server already running on my Asustor. So I'm going to open up the control panel, and we're going to use a web interface and go right into my Asustor. These are the apps that I have on here. There's an App Central. I have the Plex server. This is the new one. This is the beta one that we need to run the Plex DVR. But before I open that, I'm going to show you. There's a App Store, and most Asustor, most NASs, they have an App Store. So here's the Plex app. You pretty much go in and you search for the Plex app. Now, when you have these betas for the Plex server, you manually install them, and that's how we do it here. So since I downloaded it to my downloads folder, I'm going to click and go to my downloads folder, and I'm going to show you the Plex server. It's just a small little APK, not an Android APK, but a Linux APK, because the Asustor NAS is Linux based. So you pretty much choose, but I'm not going to, because I already have it installed. It takes a while for the DVR program guide to populate, and I don't want to have to do it over again. So now we have it here. Let's take a look at it, okay? So here we have Plex, and it opens up. It's running the app on my NAS. Now it's serving it up over my Wi-Fi and even over the internet because I have it set up that way, to serve all the videos that I have on my NAS. I have folders on my NAS, and I'm going to show you that because it's important for you to understand how a NAS works. I know my videos are detailed, and so, you know, a lot of times boring, but I have to show you. So here's my NAS again. I open it back up. Now here's my File Explorer. That's like Finder, and that's like Windows Explorer on a computer. So you open it up, and here I have Home Plex. Here's the Plex folder that Plex creates when you install the app on your Asustor. And this Plex app has a library, it has Plex Server, and it's got a whole bunch of folders. You can throw plugins there. It's got a whole bunch of folders. You basically don't mess with it. Now, when I use Plex here, I pretty much hit this plus sign button, and I add particular folders. Now, these particular folders I have broken down by media, okay? So I have media. Then I have folders called Classic TV, Classic Movies, Dad's TV, Kids Movies, and I even made 2 folders on my own before I even installed all this for HomeRun TV and HomeRun DVR. That's these 2 right here. They're empty little folders. Throw them in there into the media folder, major folder under admin. Okay, so now I'm going to show you why I made those 2 folders. And when you're recording, by the way, say I go into the HomeRun folder. It's already installed, the server, the Plex DVR server. It's already installed. It's going to have a folder called Grab. Grab is the folder that grabs the recording. And it grabs it in a form called TS. So it's not an MKV, it's not a AVI, it's a TS. Yeah, TS. That's the one that you use for DVDs. You open up a DVD on a Windows computer and you see 2 folders, audio and video. You click on video and you'll see a lot of VOBs, and they are TS files. Now the problem is Plex doesn't serve up to your clients, you know, your TV, your phone, TS files. It has to transcode it, or it has to remux it. Now I'll show you the difference between remux, and because you're going to need to know this when I show you this next part. The remux is a feature that you select when you're setting up this DVR, and it's transcode. It's either off, you don't transcode at all, you try to serve up a TS file, it won't work, or you use remux. Now remux uses an MKV container, and the content has its original encoding, but it needs a lot of space on your computer. So in other words, it records in TS, it transcodes it, it remuxes it to a MKV, but the file grows and expands and it gets bigger and it takes up a lot of room on your computer. Now you got computers with these small little hard drives, it's kind of hard to do. But you could choose remux, and it'll remux it and make it into like a .mkv stored in my Asustor NAS or in your hard drive. And you can run this on the server on Windows and Mac and Linux and all that, and even like Raspberry Pi. But you can't. Actually, Raspberry Pi only has the client. It doesn't have the server. But anyway, you can do this. Now, it's going to take up a lot of space if you remux the recordings, okay? But if you transcode the recording, what happens is it keeps it as its original TS file, all right? MPEG-2 or whatever it is. And it streams it with H.264. And that's a format that Plex can distribute to the clients. You can play that on your iOS device, on your Android device, all that stuff, and all the Plex clients that you run, okay? But it takes up a lot of CPU. So you have to have a powerful CPU. So if you're using this on your computer and you got an old style computer and your CPU is slow, you might get some choppiness, long load times, things like that. Now the NAS solves these problems because a lot of times the allocation for the RAM and for the CPU on a NAS is low. It transcodes and it uses up that CPU, but it's very efficient. It's not like a computer where it's less efficient. Plus, on a NAS, you have a lot of room, a lot of storage. You can put a lot of movies, and who cares how big the file is? You know what I'm trying to say? So, that is the story. Now, you can't watch live TV because while it's recording, it's in that grab folder on your Plex folders. And when it's done recording, then it does the conversion. Then it does the storing into the particular folder that you want on your NAS in the media folder. So you have to wait for the recordings to end before you can even view them, before they even show up as your recordings in Plex. Okay? So you're not watching live TV. You're going to have to use the software that I showed you, this HomeRun viewer, to see live TV as it happens. And there's a couple of apps, like on the Apple TV and iOS and Android, that I'm going to be reviewing. I actually got a copy of it, and that's going to be the next video. I'm going to show you how to use all this with those two apps that are great for Apple TV. They show live viewing. Can't record with them, but you know, whatever. And now with Plex, you can run it on the Apple TV and get all your recordings. You just can't watch live TV, but there are apps for that, and I will show it to you. Okay. Now, before we go any further, you got the explanation. You know that you have to buy the software, but you don't have to use it. You can use the Plex. So let's close that out. We know about remuxing, and we know about transcoding. So you got to know why you need to know those. You got the web page that I'm going to put in the description where you can get all the special servers, okay? The special Plex server to run on your computer or your NAS. You know that we can record, and now I'm going to give you a full demo of what it looks like. Okay, so now we have Plex. Now the first thing you do when you open up this beta is you go into settings, then you go into server, and then down here at the bottom you're going to see something new that you didn't see on 5 minutes ago before you install this, is the beta DVR. Now what happens is I have this already configured. You're going to see that there's two tuners, because that's what you have. Oh, and by the way, if you buy the extend version of the HomeRun, it has its own transcoding, so hardware transcoding. But if you buy the Connect, you have to transcode all of your videos from the TS to with using software that's on your Plex server. So you're probably better off with the extend, not the Connect. I bought the Connect because that was what was available for me. So pretty much you can go into device settings, and you can see here that it says Remux. All right, so Remux, you're going to be changing it from a TS to a MKV. You're going to transcode. You're going to have to have a fast CPU, because basically it keeps it as a TS, but it serves it up to your client as an MKV. Okay, it'll have .mkv at the end. So you have to decide what you want to do. If you have off, you're not going to be sitting in the airport looking at Plex, seeing your recordings and trying to watch them, because they'll be TS files and they don't get served up that way. Okay, so you have to decide that. Now when we set this up, it pretty much just asks you a bunch of questions like what's your zip code, and it found the HomeRun and it configures it automatically. And now what happens is you kind of pretty much tell it where you are, so it will now know what program guide to serve to you. So what's going to happen is you're going to see two new things here, and it's called program guide. Okay, program guide actually downloads. It takes a while to do. You can see the percentage as it goes, but once it's all there and you're totally loaded up, right now it's refreshing it, and there it is. So it's going to break it down into tabs as discover, where you could discover what's starting soon, what's on right now, and they'll even tell you what time they're going to start and what's on next after that. Okay, so that's pretty cool. Next episodes, new episodes tonight. It also has new up and coming shows, up and coming movies, and up and coming sports, and up and coming news. It takes a while for it to populate, but once it does, then you could just go straight up to movies, see what movies are available in the program guide. This program guide is free. It comes with the Plex Pass. You can also click on news programs. You want to see all the news programs coming up, and I think it might even download like a month's worth of program guide. Then you have shows, TV shows. These are TV shows. Okay, so now you find a show. You can't just click on it and it starts playing and you're watching it on your computer. No, you have to record it. So here's a red button here. We can also open it up, get a little bit more information. It'll even tell you related shows so that you can see you know, what else you want to probably record to this. Now, I got to tell you, Plex is a genius when it comes to populating metadata, meaning the information. It goes up onto the web, it looks at the name of whatever the show is, and finds the cover art for it, finds the background image. It, you know, sets it all up for you with all this metadata, show info, and the dates and times of when it's going to be airing. So let's go back like to movies here, for instance, and it found around 49 channels for me in my area, about 50 miles from Boston, pretty much 30 to 40 miles from the towers. And my antenna's up on the roof. It's a clear stream. It's, you know, better than the one that you might pop in your window. But look, here's all the movies that you can record, okay? So let's find something that we want to record. All right, say I want to record this movie here. I can go here and I can hit record. Now, I can hit, see where here it says kids movies, because I have kids movies in the list here. But I made a folder called HomeRun Movies. So I can click that, HomeRun Movies, and it will save it into HomeRun Movies. It'll go into the grab file inside the HomeRun Movies, record the entire show, and then just transfer it over to the folder called HomeRun Movies. Now, to set up the folders here, it's not going to show up. Even though I created the folder in my Asustor, in one of the media folders, I have to show Plex where that folder is. So basically, we set it up this way. We hit the plus sign here, and we're going to do movies. This is movies, so we're going to find the folder. Now, this is how you browse into a NAS, because this program is running on the NAS. You hit the browse. It's not like your computer where you go to C drive. You go into volume 1, you go into home, you go into admin, and you go into the media folder. That media folder will populate now and show all these movies that are running along the side, all these folders, I mean. So I, ahead of time, set up HomeRun TV and HomeRun Movies. So I click that, and I could just hit add. Now, these are some of the recordings that I have, but I could pretty much hit add, but I already did that, so I'm not going to do it again. So here are the HomeRun movies that I've recorded for testing, okay? So we have cover art, right? We click it, open, and we have all our metadata, okay? Now, if we go into here and we hit info on this particular movie, you're going to see that it recorded in TS fashion, okay? And it's an MPEG-2, and you cannot do anything with this to serve it up to like the Apple TV. You have to have it transcoded. Now, you could do this after the fact with the software that the Plex has. You can transcode and optimize. Let me show you an example of what I'm talking about. If you go into like classic dad movies or something like that, right? And you go here, you click here, you can analyze, and you can even go into the home button and analyze the entire folders by clicking this, and you can optimize the database. You can clean bundles, empty trash, things like that. So that makes it so that it plays. It kind of figure out what you're using it for the most, and tries to transcode or remux to that particular thing. Do it ahead of time when you're recording with the tuner, okay? So now we made that folder, and now I want to show you something else. So if you go to recorded scheduling, you're going to see all the things you record. Now, I set it up to record Family Guy every episode, every new episode. So if I click that, it would say all episodes, and I wanted it in my HomeRun TV I created on my NAS and told Plex where it was. So I want new airings only, or you could do new and repeated, and then you can hit save. You can show advanced, and you could do it under any resolution. You can do partial recordings so that it knows if I started a show in the middle of it, it's good. Or you can limit it to a particular channel. You know, sometimes they show on one channel, but the high definition one is on Fox, and you want to use that. You want to keep all episodes. You want to delete them after you watch them. It's all here inside settings, okay? So basically, you will go to Program Guide, for instance, and you will wait for it to populate, of course, and say I went into TV shows. All right, let's go to TV shows. So these are, let's go to TV shows, and I'll show you, because it's more self-explanatory that way. So we go into TV shows here, and say we got a popular show that we want to record every week, right? So say I, let's see, These are all the shows that are on all the channels. All right, so say American Dad. I want to record American Dad. It's going to say Kids TV Show. I don't want to mix up my DVR recordings with the stuff that I downloaded with torrents because they're high quality. I don't want to mix them, figure out which one was from the tuner, which one was from the downloads. I want to make a separate folder. So here's a separate folder, HomeRun TV, so that if I ever get rid of this service, I could just delete that entire folder and get rid of all those recordings, okay? Or just go to that folder and manage my recordings. Okay, so I could do all episodes, I could do new airings, so that's how it works. And then you hit record, and it will remember where you are, okay? It will look for all of the recordings. So here we have the calendar view that's going to populate, and it's going to show that I'm going to record American Dad on all these particular days. You have to make sure that you don't mess with conflicts. Now, if you love American Dad more than you'd love this Family Guy, you move up the recording. You move up the recording to make it a priority. So if there's a conflict and they're both showing at the same time, or it's at the tail end, one gets cut off, it's going to look at what you have in recording priority. So here is all of your recordings that are going to be recorded. You can go into Agenda View, and Agenda View will show all the things that you have already done in the last couple of days and what's up and coming for today. I'm going to record a 10:30 p.m. Recording of Family Guy. I'm going to do a 2 o'clock in the morning American Dad. So, like I said, it records it in TS fashion. You can remux or transcode it, and then after it's done recording, it goes into HomeRun Movies or HomeRun TV. Okay? So that's pretty much it. Now, you could save money and not have to buy the software that HomeRun wants you to buy. You have Plex. It's universal. It has great management, great metadata. Plex serves things up beautifully. I recommend the Extend if you're going to buy the HomeRun. And by the way, it only works with pretty much the HomeRuns. There are Mac software, there's Windows software, you can run other DVR programs, but I think Plex is a good way to go. So if you have any questions, please leave them in the comments. I hope I explained everything to your satisfaction. If not, get in touch with me. Leave a comment. And please like this video. I can't tell you how many times I make videos. It takes me hours to make, and I do a lot of research, and I get no likes and no views. So help me out here, okay? Thank you for watching, and I will see you on the next video. Thank you.